Are you wondering what's going on with the local Almaden Valley market now that we've been in the shelter in place for over 6 weeks? Well, today I'm going to jump into the data with some of our first closings that even began during shelter in place and talk about the average prices as well as what's going on in the local market around us. So stay tuned for great information. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with homeownerexperience.com, a local San Jose, California realtor. I love Almaden Valley and I love living here as well as working here. And so today we're going to cover some of the real data of what's going on with the local real estate market. So let's jump right into the computer and take a look at the actual charts. Okay, here we are with the real estate dashboard that I've been doing the last several months. This is with data through April 2020. And what you can see here is the average price was down 11%. Now, I don't know if you remember last month, but it was up something crazy like 27% in March. So don't worry about that. Almaden Valley does seem to fluctuate, especially on the average price, because there are sales that are happening from $1 million all the way up to $4 or $5 million. So if a couple big properties sell that month, it really does sway that average. So we will see the average bouncing around, and we can look at that when we get into the actual chart a little more. But the number of sales were actually up 17% in April. Those are closings, and you would expect that to happen. That means more people were getting in contract in March, and they closed their sale in April. And that is a typical spring trend that we would expect. So today is still technically a seller's market. Even with the shelter in place influence and things slowing down a little bit, it hasn't slowed drastically. We currently have 28 days of inventory, which is quite a bit, or a pretty good number. That's still less than a month of inventory, which is pretty fabulous. And what you do want to note, though, is the pending sales are way down, 44%. Now, of course, that is completely counterintuitive for this time of year. That is definitely heavily related to the shelter in place. But inventory is up 52%. So that is something we would expect. The numbers in Almaden are all generally pretty small. So even though 52% sounds really high, something like 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 up to like 26, 27. So it's not a huge number that we're talking about. And the sales price to list price was down below the list price. Now that drastically changed from the previous month. So yes, the shelter in place has affected sales for sure. And we are at 38% of single family homes in contract, which is down 63%, or down because last month it was 63%. So that's a huge drop in the number of sales. And again, I believe that's totally due to the shelter in place. So let's look at the actual chart over the last several years. This starts in 2015, you see, and the big yellow bars here are highlighting February, March, and April, which tend to be our hottest spring sales months, especially in Almaden because of the school influence. So I really wanted to take a closer look at those. So what you're going to see from this green line here is these green bars represent how many sales closed each month. We were pretty soft for April, though last year had similar April. The year before, much more. This year, quite a bit more. But what you do note is that the inventory is also really low. So that is this yellow line. Typically our inventory would be up here in April where I drew this yellow line, and we are quite a bit below that. Again, I think there's a lot of people holding their properties off the market in Almaden. A lot of people live in their house when they sell it, and there was the first month of shelter in place that wasn't even allowed. There was no ability to sell your house if you were living in it, unfortunately. Now that has loosened up a little bit. So I think that's partially why we started to see a little bit of inventory increase at the latter half of April. What you can tell here is that the sales prices did drop what I had said, but look at, there's that spike I said that happened before. So we've kind of been bouncing around about the same number since kind of, looks like mid 2018, right? Or even, I guess, late 2017. There was a little dip in 2018, and then again in 2019 we kind of recovered that. So prices have been fairly steady, but yes, seasonal a little bit by what month you're selling in. So let's just look at a quick reality check, a year-over-year look at these prices. So yes, the prices have been up and down, but they're trending almost exactly the same as last April, a year ago, depending on if you look at the median or average, but we're pretty much right on number there. But you will notice red for all these other categories. So everything else has really dropped and slowed down year over year in Almaden. So last April 2019, we had 37 sales, and this April only 27. We only have 16 pending, and last April we had 25 pending, right? So definitely a pretty huge slowdown. But the thing to note is that our days of inventory is actually down. That's a positive thing there. That should be a negative in green, but the days of inventory is actually down. So that means even though everything has shrunk in our market as far as the number of sales and the inventory, the pace or the rhythm of the market is very similar to what we had last year in 2019. Just less sellers who are getting in contract, but there's also less sellers trying to sell. So I think it's not a bad thing. The market is not horrible. The sky has not fallen. It is not switched directly over to a buyer's market. So sellers, it's still a great time to sell if you've got your house ready or if you had plans to move anyway, because the buying season is going to heat up. Those families looking to get in for schools are going to need to do so really soon, and it's a great time to buy because of the interest rates right now. So stick on your plans to buy or sell, and let me know if you have any detailed questions. You can go to my website at homeownerexperience.com/free-reports and check out all my seller information and tips that are available there. And of course, you can feel free to reach out with personal questions. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your attention. I look forward to helping and serving you.